Good afternoon. I'm Steve Walker. I'm here with Ron Cole, and we're looking at the April 2023 housing market as we find it in St Albans. We've been taking a look at the Rightmove figures for this month, and we're sort of putting our take on that. Ron, how have you found it, given that Rightmove are saying it's pretty positive out there?
Yeah, I think I'd echo Rightmove's findings and say, yeah, absolutely, it's a lot more positive with incoming inquiries, and a lot more positive when we're actually speaking to people as well. We're hearing a little bit less moans and groans.
That's good to hear. So I think what would be useful for people to understand is what is the scale of the St Albans market. I mean, for instance, how many new instructions have there been through, not just us, but the whole market in St Albans? What does it look like at the moment?
Again, really good question, Steve. Actually, if we look at the whole of the market for the last month's period, we have a very close to 170 instructions that have come to the market across the city. That's slightly up actually on this time last year. It could be a bit of a variation on different stock types, but a little bit up on this time last year.
Interesting. And the mix in terms of type of property, what does that look like?
Because we're in such a varied city where we have new developments, Victorian terraces and large detached homes, it's continued to be exactly that. So we're seeing a really, really interesting mix. What I have seen personally a little bit more of in the last month or so is homes that need some refurbishment and work. I think that's the kind of thing that was held on to a little bit more through periods of COVID and over the last year or so. But definitely seeing some more projects come to the market in amongst those points as well.
Okay, and people's view on mortgages, are people having a reasonably positive view on finances and how expensive it's likely to be to purchase a property?
Again, really interesting point. If we look at just the variation from where we're sat today for where we're sat a month ago, mortgage rates for first-time buyers with 90% deposits, which is generally the consensus of that, that the overall market uptake is taken from, is it has improved. It's much more an attractive place. It's come down a point or so from last month, but it's the conversations we're having with first-time buyers as they reapproach market, and even investors, that the mortgage market looks a bit more competitive.
It's interesting. I mean, we hear a lot about cost of living pressures out there. We're also seeing the rental market where rents are increasing, and that seems almost to be filtering through into the sales market with first-time buyers taking a look at the comparison between a rental and a purchase cost, and concluding that actually maybe now's a good time to be jumping onto the purchase ladder. I suppose that's the best way of calling it. Yeah, I mean, I think it's an interesting market at the moment. It seems pretty solid to me. It compares well with last year, which was in some ways an exceptional year as we play catch up after the COVID period of time, and maybe we're actually running ahead of the more normal market of 2019, when the markets were a bit steadier, but we're doing well against that. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it is. I think what's happened when we look at first-time buyers, and sometimes sideways movers, people coming out of sale as well and looking at renting, is they have sort of sat on the fence about what's going on, what can be coming up. So if you're a first-time buyer that's just spent £1,600 a month on a two-bedroom apartment, you've seen that capital come away from your deposit, and you probably don't want that to happen too much. So one of the stories we're hearing is actually we've been in St Albans for 6 months. We really like the area, and as first-time buyers are really, really keen now to jump on a purchase. So we've heard that from quite a bit. So that's representing a reasonable amount of our market. But I think as rents maybe stabilising a little bit, we're seeing more of those current tenants come back to market to purchase.
Right. Well, look, thanks very much, Ron. Do appreciate your input as always, and we'll speak again soon.
Look forward to it. Thanks very much, Steve.
Cheers.